Hey, what's going on? This is Greg with Life Fitness. I'm coming at you with 5 fit and fantabulous abdominal exercises that are going to help shape and tone your core. So we're going to start this off. First and foremost, understand the torso is made up of both the core, the abdominals, which we're going to be targeting, but we're also going to be hitting 1 or 2 exercises that are going to help keep those abdominals from super tightening and leading to those rounded shoulders, which I'm sure we don't want because we want a good, sexy core. We want the good, sexy posture to help kind of define and shape our entire body, right? So that hourglass figure is going to be coming off of our last couple of exercises. So first and foremost, we're going to start it all off with a great exercise that's going to build up lots of great core stability with your plank. Now we're going to start this off in a push-up position down on top of the knees for a first progression or a beginner progression. Pop it up to the toes. For the second progression or more advanced, we're going to add a saw action to it. Now for our level 1 and level 2 right there, we want the elbows underneath the shoulders, belly buttons drawn in tight, squeeze those glutes, hips are straight. We're looking for the earlobes, the shoulders, the hips and the ankles or the knees in one straight line. Holding this position, we want our eyesight dead center between those palms, and we're going to hold this movement for as long as we can until either the hips start sagging down, hips hinge up, or we drop down entirely. Now, that's a level 1 and a level 2. A level 3, we'll walk those toes backward, keeping utmost form until those arms are about as fully extended as we can get it, and then just walk it back forward. So this is a saw motion. It's going to really overload that core. Just repeat for repetitions. So this is the first of our 5 fantastic abdominal exercises. You're really going to start feeling the abdominals underneath, the abdominals really rocking away. For our next progression, we're going to be hitting a little bit more of those abdominals with the internal obliques. We're going to start it up on a side plank, either on top of the knees, just like so, with the head as neutral as possible, not dipping down and not popping up, but the elbow, again, underneath the shoulders. Top hand on top of the hips. We're going to hold this position with the bottom knee bent at 90-degree angles and the top leg fully extended. A level 2 will be in a full extension, just like this, on both toes, and a level 3, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be in an X, so what we call the X side plank. You're going to hold this position as much as possible. Now we're starting to rock a little bit more. The hip flexors right in here, the lateral hip flexors, which is great at stabilizing the pelvis, which is a great portion of your torso. So that's going to be our beginner, our intermediate, and our advanced progressions for the second exercise. Our third exercise is going to bring back this crunch. So we're going to position those knees at 90-degree angles. Now the crunch is a great exercise. However, it's gotten a really bad rap because of pulled and strained necks, pulled and strained lower backs, and all sorts of problems in the shoulders. As long as you make sure the head touches down, the shoulders touch down to the ground after every repetition, you keep the small of the back in contact with the ground at all times, and focus on not hurting yourself and stopping once and if you experience any pain or discomfort, you should be fine. Now with that said, if you have any previous neck, shoulder injuries, of course go talk to your doctor. We're going to start this off with the hands on top of the thighs for our beginner exercise. Round those shoulders up, bring it all the way up, hold for just a second. Relax and bring everything back down again, keeping the small of the back in contact with the ground at all times. Pop it up, crunch and tight. Now keeping the circular or the flexion in the spine as consistent as possible. So we do want to flex the neck and round the shoulders forward, round the neck forward until we relax and bring everything back down. Shoulders hit the ground, head hits the ground, pop it back up, crunch it in tight. So this is going to be our very first or beginning exercise for our crunches. A second progression, a great progression from this one, is going to add on to this with our U-ups. Now our U-ups are going to add a long lever, which is going to overload those abdominals just a little bit more. Again, head is down on the ground. Once we start, the wrists and the ankles will stay off of the ground at all times with the knees together, knees ideally touching or as close to touching as possible, and the arms fully extended, elbows fully extended right up overhead. So we're going to start, we're going to U it up, the head comes off the ground, shoulders come off the ground, U it up, crunch it in as tight as possible, up to the center, relax and bring everything back down slow and controlled. Pop it back up, crunch it in tight, hold, relax and bring everything back down. Now this is the intermediate exercise, which is fantastic at getting both the upper and the lower abdominals, but does give the abdominals a little bit of a break at the very bottom. Now our third and final, our advanced progression for this one. It's really going to overload those abdominals, and it's great at getting the best bang for your buck. This is called a dead bug. Arms and legs go fully extended right up overhead. Now, if you have like a paper towel roll or a pillow or some sort of soft, lightweight ball, you can stick those between your hands and your legs, and you want to compress, ideally, from the sides. All right, so really kind of keep that there, and what that is, that compression is really going to rock those abdominals, both the upper and the lower. All right, what you will do is you'll take your opposite arm and your opposite leg. They will go straight down while you're ideally pressing in on that paper towel roll or that ball or what have you, and then you're going to pop it up and switch sides. So very much like the U up, but we're keeping one arm and one leg up there, the opposite arm, opposite leg up there, compressing in to never let those abdominals totally relax. All right, really rock it. You can love that one to really get that core involved. Now that's a great exercise that you can be just knocking away in just very, very little. Really gets those abdominals going. We're going to hit the obliques with the next exercise. We're going to start it off with a Russian twist. With a Russian twist, super, super imperative. We go with a consistent tempo. We don't want fast tempo. That's really not going to get us very far. We want to keep those knees together, heels down on the ground for our beginner progression. We're going to start with that long lever because we're looking for the X's in the abdominals. Long lever, chest out, chin up high, arms fully extended, knees at 90s. We're going to watch those fingertips, watch those palms at all times. We're only getting about 1.5 degrees of rotation in each vertebrae. So we're going to keep those arms perpendicular to the body and only rotate about 15 to 20 degrees from side to side. In fact, if you start noticing those knees start to separate, that's going to be a little bit too far. So this is going to be our level 1 progression. A level 2 is going to pick those knees up or pick those heels up off of the ground, really overload that core, keeping that spine as neutral as possible, chest up, chin up high. We're looking for about 1 to 2 seconds side to side sweeps. All right, and a good advanced progression. If you have any dumbbells, have any dead weight, have anything that's going to weigh anywhere from about 5 to about 10 pounds is really all you need with the long lever. Just holding that inside your hand with the heels up, and you're going to rock that core super, super tight. All right, so that's going to be the third progression for our fourth exercise. And for our fifth and final exercise for our fit and fantabulous abdominals, what we're going to be rocking off with here are the leg raises. Now, leg raise, another great body weight exercise. In fact, we really don't need to do a whole lot of assisted exercise, a whole lot of weighted exercise, except for one thing. And that's whenever we're going to be carrying groceries, carrying anything like that, that's going to be overloading those abdominals as well. So what we're going to do with those hands down by your side, fully extend those arms all the way down, or you can put those hands on top of those hips with the elbows out, which is also going to help stabilize. We're going to keep those heels together, chest out, chin up high. And we are going to draw the hips up just ever so slightly, keeping them small in the back, in contact with the ground at all times. Knee or legs will come up to just beyond 90 degrees, popping it all the way up to right about here with good straight knees. Crunch it in tight, belly buttons in tight, and then relax and bring everything back down. Now, our progression from here is going to bring it all the way in with those hips actually coming off of the ground. Now, with this one, I'm going to bring those arms down by the side, just crunch it super, super tight. Hips coming off the ground, belly buttons in tight, really rounding that spine, particularly in the lower back. Now, if you have any lower back issues, this is an exercise you don't want to be doing. Of course, consult with your doctor before undergoing any exercise program. Pop it up, crunch it in, tight, tight, tight. Relax and bring everything back down. All right, so we're only going to have 2 progressions with this one. Then a bonus great exercise we're going to add to this one. And this is only if you have any kind of dead weight, dumbbells, kettlebells. I'm going to use a kettlebell for this one. This is called a unilateral squat. Now, this is a great exercise. It's really going to build up lots of hip stability. It's going to build up lots of core stability. It's going to really help perfect that form, because that's what we're doing all this core work for, is for that sexy waist, right? So we're going to take one hand, it's going either on top of the hips, or you're going to kind of brace it down by your side, belly button tight. You want those feet underneath those hips, toes are forward. You're going to hold the kettlebell or the dumbbell or whatever dead weight, no jug, what have you, on one side. Now, all that weight, all that body weight, you're going to feel it more on the side of the leg that's closest to the kettlebell or closest to the dead weight. All right? We're going to drive it up through those toes, bring it back down. So we're doing a unilateral squat. Now, even though we're feeling, or I'm feeling all of this weight on my left leg, really, really important that we drive up through both legs. We try to keep those hips as stable as possible. It's going to have a tendency to want to kind of sway towards the weight. Don't let that happen as you're coming down. In fact, doing this exercise in front of a mirror is a great way to really perfect that form, really build up lots of great core stability. And as we overload it with any kind of a weight, starting off with only about 10 or 15 pounds, you should really notice a great change in the way that our posture is as we squat it down, and then progressing through. But as you start it off, you'll really, really notice that those hips will want to kind of hug the side and just fight that as much as possible. All right? So what you want to do is do these 5 fantabulous abdominal exercises about 2 to 3 minutes. You're looking for anywhere from about 15 to about 25 repetitions, depending upon your personal goal, which means you can rock it out. Some people ask me for a 10 or a 15-minute abdominal exercise. Really, the abdominals are just like every other exercise or every other muscle group. They're going to really get overloaded with just a little bit, especially off in the very, very beginning. So use these about 10 minutes or so. You should really get you rocking with your fantabulous beach body. This is Greg with Lit Fitness coming at you. Of course, check us out, www.getlitfit.com. Kansas City's fantastic Blue Springs particular women's weight loss boot camp.